Once upon a time, there lived a beggar at a railway station in a city. He used to beg from the passengers of the trains passing by and fill his stomach. One day, when he was begging, he saw a tall man in a suit and boots. He thought, "This man seems to be very rich. If I beg from him, he will surely give me good money." He started begging from that tall man. Seeing the beggar, the tall man said, "You always keep begging. Do you ever give anything to anyone?" The beggar said, "Sir, I am a beggar. I always keep begging from people. I don't have the capacity to give anything to anyone." The tall man said, "When you can't give anything to anyone, then you don't even have the right to beg. I am a businessman, and I believe in giving and taking. If you have anything to give me, then only I can give you something in return." After saying this, the tall man sat in the train and left. Here, the beggar started thinking about what he had said. What that tall man said entered the heart of that beggar. He started thinking that maybe I don't get much money in begging, because I can't give anything to anyone in return. But I am a beggar. I am not even worthy of giving anything to anyone. But for how long will I keep begging without giving anything to people? After thinking a lot, that beggar decided that whoever begs from him, he will also give something to that person in return. But now this question was going on in his mind that he himself is a beggar. So what can he give to others in return for begging? It's been 2 days thinking about this, but he didn't get any answer to his question. On the third day, when he was sitting near the station, he saw some flowers that were blooming on the nearby plants of the station. He thought, "Why don't I give people some flowers in return for begging?" He liked this thought of his, and he plucked some flowers from there. Now he reached the train to beg. Now, whenever someone would beg him, he would give some flowers to the beggar in return. People would happily keep those flowers with them. Now the beggar plucked flowers every day and distributed those flowers to people in return for begging. In a few days, he felt that a lot of people were begging him now. He used to pluck all the flowers near the station. As long as he had flowers, a lot of people used to beg him. But when the flowers were distributed, he didn't even get any begging. Now this kept happening every day. One day when he was begging, he saw that the same tall person was sitting in the train, because of whom he got the inspiration to give flowers in return for begging. He immediately went to that person and said, "Today I have some flowers to give you. If you beg me, I will give you some flowers in return." That tall person gave him some money in the form of begging, and the beggar gave him some flowers. That tall person liked this very much. He said, "Wow, what a thing! Today you have also become a businessman like me." Saying this, that tall person got down at his station with the flowers. But what that tall person said once again entered that beggar's heart. He started thinking again and again about what that tall person said, and he became very happy. His eyes began to shine now. He felt that now he has got the key to success, through which he can change his life. He immediately got down from the train and excitedly, in a very loud voice, looked up at the sky and said, "I am not a beggar. I am a businessman. I can also become rich." When people saw him, they thought that perhaps this beggar has gone mad. And from the next day, that beggar was never seen at that station again. But 6 months later, 2 people were traveling in suits at this station. When they saw each other, one of them shook hands with the other and said, "Do you recognize me?" The other person said, "No, because according to me we are meeting for the first time." The first person said, "No, you remember, we are not meeting for the first time, but for the 3rd time." The second person said, "I do not remember. By the way, when did we meet for the first time?" Now the first person smiled and said, "We met twice before in this train. I am the same beggar, whom you told in the first meeting what I should do in life. And in the second meeting, you told me who I really am." The second person smiled and said, "Oh, I remember. You are the same beggar whom I refused to give alms once, and the second time I bought some flowers from you. But today where are you going in this suit boot, And what are you doing these days?" Then the first person said, "Yes, I am the same beggar, but today I am a very big florist, and I am going to another city for this business." After a while, he said again, "You told me the rule of nature in the first meeting, according to which we get something only when we give something. This rule of giving and taking actually works. I have felt it very well now, but I always thought of myself as a beggar. I never thought beyond this. And when I met you for the second time, then you told me that I had become a businessman. Now I had understood that I was not really a beggar, but a businessman. I had understood why people were giving me so much alms, because they were not giving me alms, but were paying the price of those flowers. Everyone was buying my flowers, because where would they get flowers cheaper than this? I was a small businessman in the eyes of people, but I was a beggar in my own eyes. When you told me this, I understood that I was a small businessman. I collected money from distributing flowers in the train, bought a lot of flowers from them, and became a flower businessman. The people here like flowers very much, and this liking of theirs made me a very big flower businessman today. Both the businessmen were happy now, and when the station arrived, they got off together and moved ahead while talking about their own business. Friends, we get to learn a lot from this story. The long businessman in the story knew the rules of give and take very well. All the big businessmen in the world have succeeded by using the rules of this life. He also told this formula to the beggar. The beggar adopted this natural rule, and its effect was clearly visible in his life. He changed his thinking, and his life changed. This story tells us that if we change our thinking, we can achieve anything. If we keep thinking of ourselves as small, then we will always remain small. To become big, we will have to change our thinking, and we will have to think big about ourselves. The essence of the story is that success is hidden in your thinking. Raise your self-esteem, make your thinking big, and see how you reach the peak of success.